The sky was full of stars that night. The city lights of Seoul flickered below like thousands of tiny candles, but above them, the universe stretched endlessly, a black canvas, painted with silver dust. People walked the busy streets, cars honked, neon signs blinked, and music spilled out of bars and cafes. But high above all of this noise and chaos, something extraordinary was happening. It began as a streak of light. At first, it looked like a shooting star, nothing unusual. Many people saw it and made a wish, whispering silently, hoping the universe was listening. A young girl walking home from cram school squeezed her eyes shut and wished for her crush to like her back. A businessman who had just lost his job looked up and begged for a new chance in life. Lovers holding hands stopped, gasped, and wished to stay together forever. But it wasn't a shooting star. It wasn't even a meteor. It was her. She was falling through the atmosphere, wrapped in light, her body glowing like fire, her hair floating as if she were underwater. She wasn't human, not in the way people understood. She was from a faraway star, a world beyond galaxies, where time worked differently and where beings lived for thousands of years. Her people were explorers, travelers of the universe, watchers of life. Her name was Elora. Her fall wasn't planned. Her ship had been hit by a cosmic storm as it traveled past Earth. The damage was too great, and she had no choice but to eject. She had lived through many storms in space, but this one was different. It had pushed her down, dragged her toward this little blue planet that she had observed from a distance many times but never touched. Now she had no choice but to land here. The light around her body cracked the air, and the ground trembled. People gasped, pointing at the sky. Phones came out, cameras clicked, and videos began streaming online. Look at that. What is it? Is it a UFO? Is it a meteor shower? But Elora was not thinking of them. She was thinking of survival. Her heart pounded in her chest, her senses overwhelmed by the thick pull of Earth's gravity. She had studied humans, but she had never imagined what it would feel like to become one of them, to carry a fragile body of flesh and bone, instead of pure energy and star matter. The crash was silent in the forest outside the city. She hit the ground like a whisper, her light fading, her body collapsing into the cold earth. The glowing fragments around her melted into nothing, leaving no trace except the faint smell of smoke and the soft hum of something not from this world. For a moment, Elora lay there, breathing heavily, her silver eyes scanning the dark forest. Her skin glowed faintly, but already the glow was fading. She was changing. Her body was adjusting itself to Earth. Her energy was shrinking, condensing, hiding itself so that she could blend in. Within minutes, her glow was gone. She looked like a young woman, barely 20, with pale skin, long dark hair, and eyes that still carried starlight inside them. And that was the night Jae-min found her. He wasn't supposed to be there. Jae-min was a university student, tall and thin, with messy hair and eyes that looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. He had been walking home from his part-time job at the convenience store, cutting through the forest path, even though it was late. His friends always told him not to too dark, too dangerous, but he didn't care. He liked the silence of the forest. That's when he saw it, the light, the crash, the smoke. At first, he thought it was a car accident, but when he ran closer, he froze. There, in the middle of the clearing, was a girl. She was lying on the ground, her dress torn, her hair spread out like ink on paper. She was so still that for a moment he thought she was dead. But then she opened her eyes. And Jae-min forgot how to breathe. Her eyes were unlike anything he had ever seen. They were silver, shining faintly in the moonlight, as if tiny stars lived inside them. She looked straight at him, and in that single moment, his whole world shifted. Who are you? Jae-min stammered, his voice shaking. Elora tried to sit up, but her body trembled. She whispered something, but her words were not in Korean. They were soft, melodic, like music from another world. Jae-min couldn't understand, but he felt something in his chest, like the words carried meaning even without translation. "You're hurt," he said, kneeling beside her. "Wait, I'll call an ambulance." No, her voice was sudden, sharp. Jae-min froze. For the first time, her words were in his language, though her accent was strange, heavy, as if each sound was new to her tongue. No hospital. No people. Jaemin frowned. But you need help. Her hand shot out, gripping his wrist with surprising strength. Her skin was warm, almost too warm, and when she touched him, a spark shot through his body. His heart skipped a beat. She looked at him, her silver eyes burning into his, and said in a voice that was both desperate and commanding, "Please. Hide me." Jaemin's mind spun. Who was this girl? Where had she come from? Why did she fall from the sky? And why did he feel, deep in his heart, that his life would never be the same again? He swallowed hard, staring at her fragile form, at her strange, otherworldly beauty. And, against all reason, against all logic, he nodded. "Okay," he said softly. "I'll hide you." The night air grew colder. Far above them, the stars burned silently, watching. And though Jae-min didn't know it yet, his decision that night to take home a girl who fell from the stars was the beginning of a love story that would cross galaxies, defy time, and change both their destinies forever. Jae-min had never brought a stranger home before. He wasn't the type of guy to take risks. He liked his quiet life, even if it was a little boring. But that night, as he carried Elora on his back through the forest, he knew this was not just a normal decision. Her body was lighter than he expected. It was almost as if she weighed nothing at all. Still, he could feel her warmth against his back, feel her shallow breaths brushing against his neck. Every step made him more aware of the strangeness of this situation. Who was she? Why had she fallen from the sky? And why did her touch make his heart race? By the time he reached his small apartment on the edge of Seoul, his shirt was damp with sweat. He fumbled for his keys, nervously glancing around to make sure no neighbors saw him. What would they think if they saw him carrying a half-conscious girl into his place at midnight? The apartment was tiny, just one room with a small kitchen in the corner, a bed, a desk, and a bathroom barely big enough for one person. But it was his. He gently set Elora down on his bed. She looked fragile lying there, her long hair spilling across his pillow, her pale skin almost glowing under the weak light of the room. For a moment, Jae-min just stood there, staring. She wasn't like anyone he had ever seen. Her face had a strange beauty, soft, but sharp at the same time, like something carved by an artist. And her eyes, even though they were closed now, he couldn't forget how they looked when they had locked on his. Like the universe itself was staring back at him. He shook his head quickly. What am I even doing? She could be dangerous or crazy, he muttered to himself, pacing the floor. Maybe I should call the police. But then she stirred, and his thoughts froze. Her lips moved, whispering something. The words weren't Korean, but they were soft, desperate. She looked troubled, like she was dreaming of something painful. "Water," she murmured suddenly, this time in Korean. Jae-min blinked. "Oh yeah, wait." He rushed to the sink and filled a glass. Carefully, he helped her sit up. She drank slowly, her hands trembling, but when the water touched her lips, she seemed calmer, as if it eased some invisible pain. When she finished, she looked at him. Her silver eyes were open again, and Jae-min almost dropped the glass. "You helped me," she said quietly, her accent strange but clear. Jae-min scratched the back of his neck awkwardly. Yeah. I mean, you looked like you needed it." For a while, they just looked at each other. Then Elora asked, "Where am I?" "In my apartment," Jae-min replied. "Seoul, South Korea." Her brow furrowed slightly, as if she was processing the words. She repeated softly, "Seoul." The way she said it made the city's name sound like music. "And you?" Jae-min asked carefully. Who are you? Where did you come from?" There was silence. Elora's eyes flickered with hesitation. She looked down at her hands, as if debating whether to tell him the truth. Finally, she whispered, "Far away. You would not believe if I told you." Jae-min frowned. "Try me." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "A star," she said. "I came from the stars." Jae-min stared at her. For a moment, he thought she was joking. But her face was serious, her voice calm. There was no trace of laughter in her silver eyes. "You're saying you're an alien?" he asked, half skeptical, half nervous. "Yes." He laughed nervously, rubbing his forehead. Okay. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I hit my head somewhere. This can't be real." Elora tilted her head. "You don't believe me." "Of course not," Jamin said, his voice louder than he intended. He lowered it quickly. "I mean, people don't just fall from the sky. Aliens don't look like you." He gestured at her. "You look human." Her expression grew distant. "I wasn't like this before. Your planet, it changes me. It hides me." Jamin didn't know what to say. His rational mind screamed at him that this was impossible. But another part of him, the part that had seen her fall from the sky, with his own eyes, wondered if maybe, just maybe, she was telling the truth. Elora suddenly looked at him, her voice soft but firm. "I need your help. You promised." Jamin swallowed hard. He remembered her words in the forest, the way she had grabbed his wrist and begged him. He hadn't meant to get this involved, but now he felt trapped. How could he turn her away? "What kind of help?" he asked cautiously. "I must stay hidden," Elora said, "until I can return. There are those who will search for me. If they find me, it will be dangerous." "Dangerous?" Jamin repeated, his stomach tightening. She nodded slowly. "For both of us." Jamin rubbed his temples. "Great. Just great. I bring home a girl from the stars, and now people or aliens, or whatever are going to come after us." Elora tilted her head slightly, studying him. "You are afraid." "Of course I'm afraid." Jamin snapped. "This isn't normal. I'm just a student. I work at a convenience store, I study, I live alone. I can't deal with this kind of thing." Elora's gaze softened. "But you already are. You chose to help me." Her words struck something deep inside him. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Instead, he sighed heavily, sinking onto the chair by his desk. Silence filled the room for a while. The only sound was the faint hum of the refrigerator and the distant noise of traffic outside. Then, quietly, Jamin asked, "How long do you need to stay?" Elora looked at him with eyes that seemed older than time. "I don't know. Maybe days. Maybe years." Jamin nearly fell out of his chair. "Years?" Elora looked away, her face unreadable. "Time moves differently for me. I cannot measure it as you do." Jamin pressed his hands to his face. "I must be crazy. Completely crazy." But then he looked at her again, lying on his bed like some fragile, fallen star, her silver eyes watching him with quiet intensity. And something in his chest tightened. Crazy or not, he couldn't send her away. "Fine," he said finally, his voice tired. "You can stay. But only for a while. And you have to promise me no weird alien stuff. No glowing eyes in front of people. No superpowers or whatever." Elora's lips curved into the faintest smile again. "I will try." That night, Jamin lay awake on the floor with a blanket, staring at the ceiling while Elora slept in his bed. He couldn't stop thinking. Who was she really? What had he gotten himself into? But even as his mind raced with fear and doubt, one thought kept returning. The way she had looked at him in the forest. The way her eyes seemed to see straight into his soul. And against all logic, all reason, Jamin realized something terrifying. He wanted to see those eyes again tomorrow. The morning light slipped into the room through thin curtains, painting the walls with soft gold. Jamin blinked awake, his back aching from sleeping on the hard floor. He stretched, groaning softly, then froze. For a moment, he thought the events of last night were only a dream. The forest, the falling star, the girl with silver eyes, it all seemed too unreal. But then he turned his head and saw her. Elora was sitting quietly on his bed, her long hair falling over her shoulders, her gaze fixed on the window. The sunlight touched her skin, and Jamin thought she looked like something out of a painting, too beautiful to be real. But her eyes, they were human now. Dark, almost black. No silver glow, no starry shimmer. Jamin sat up slowly. "Your eyes." Elora turned to him, her expression calm. "They change. This body hides me. It makes me look like one of you. Jaemin rubbed his face. Right, alien body disguise. Of course.
He shook his head.
This is insane. But Elora didn't argue. She just looked at him with a steady calmness, as if she had lived through 1,000 insanities before. His stomach growled loudly, breaking the silence. Elora tilted her head, curious. Jaemin felt his cheeks burn. Breakfast, he muttered, hurrying to the kitchen corner. He cracked a couple of eggs into a pan, heated instant noodles, and made toast. It wasn't much, but it was all he could afford. As the smell of food filled the room, Elora watched closely, her eyes following every movement like a child discovering something new. What are you doing? She asked. Cooking, Jaemin said, stirring the noodles. You do eat, right? Elora hesitated. Not like you. But this body, it hungers. When the food was ready, he set it on the small table. Elora picked up the chopsticks awkwardly, fumbling. Jaemin sighed and reached over. Like this, he said, showing her how to hold them. Their fingers brushed, and for a second he felt that same spark he had felt in the forest. Elora tried again, clumsy but determined. When she finally managed to lift a noodle, she looked almost proud. Jaemin couldn't help but smile. She tasted it carefully. Her eyes widened. Strange but warm. She took another bite, faster this time. It is good. Jaemin chuckled. Welcome to Korean food. As they ate, he found himself watching her more than his meal. Every small reaction of hers, the way she tilted her head, the way she studied every detail, reminded him how different she was. Yet, at the same time, she seemed so human. After breakfast, Jaemin went to his closet and pulled out some clothes. You can't keep wearing that, whatever that is, he said, pointing at her torn dress. People will stare. Elora touched the fabric of his t-shirt curiously, then slipped it over her head. It was oversized, falling past her thighs, making her look like a child trying on her father's clothes. Jaemin felt his face heat again and quickly turned away. Better, he muttered. At least you won't look like you escaped from a costume drama. That day, Jaemin skipped his morning class. He knew he should go, but how could he leave an alien girl alone in his apartment? What if she did something strange? What if someone saw her? Instead, he sat at his desk, pretending to study, while Elora wandered around the small room. She touched the books, the lamp, the computer, as if each object was a mystery. She pressed the light switch on and off, fascinated by the sudden glow. She turned the tap in the sink, staring at the flowing water like it was magic. You act like you've never seen these things before, Jaemin said finally. I haven't, Elora replied simply. Your world, it is full of small wonders. Jaemin snorted. Trust me, it's not that wonderful. But deep down, he felt something stir. He had always seen his life as boring, ordinary. Yet through her eyes, even the simplest things seemed extraordinary. Later that afternoon, Elora sat cross-legged on the bed, her gaze thoughtful. Tell me, she said, what do humans desire most? Jaemin blinked. What do you mean? On my world, we do not live as you do. We do not eat. We do not work. We do not age as quickly. But you run all day chasing something. What is it? Jaemin leaned back in his chair, staring at the ceiling. I guess happiness.
Success. Love.
Everyone wants different things. Love, Elora repeated softly, as if tasting the word. I have heard of this. What is it? Jaemin froze. How could he explain love? It wasn't something you could describe in a few words. He scratched his head. It's when you care about someone more than yourself. When their smile makes you happy, and their pain makes you hurt. Elora studied him, her dark eyes unreadable. Do you love someone? The question caught him off guard. He coughed awkwardly. Me?
No.
I mean, not really. I've been too busy with school, work, life. Love is complicated. Elora tilted her head. Complicated? The way she said it, soft and thoughtful, made his chest tighten for reasons he didn't understand. That evening, Jaemin had to go to work. He hesitated at the door, looking at Elora. Stay here. Don't open the door for anyone. Don't glow or anything. Please. Elora gave a small nod. I will wait. When Jaemin left, Elora sat quietly for a while. But soon, her curiosity pulled her to the window. She looked out at the busy street below, at the endless flow of humans rushing somewhere. Their faces carried so many emotions: joy, anger, sadness, longing. To Elora, it was overwhelming. Her people did not live this way. They did not feel so strongly, so painfully. And yet, she felt something stir inside her chest. Something she had never known before. Meanwhile, at the convenience store, Jaemin found it impossible to focus. His boss scolded him twice for being distracted. Customers gave him odd looks when he gave them the wrong change. His mind kept drifting back to his apartment, to the strange girl waiting there. When his shift ended, he rushed home. As he opened the door, he froze. Elora was standing in the middle of the room, her eyes glowing silver again, her body surrounded by a faint shimmer of light. What are you doing? Jaemin whispered harshly, slamming the door shut. Someone might see. Elora turned to him calmly. I was remembering. My true form is fading. I needed to feel it again. Her glow slowly dimmed, her eyes returning to human black. She looked at him, and for the first time, Jaemin noticed something fragile in her expression. I am afraid, she admitted softly. Jaemin's anger melted. He stepped closer, his voice gentle. Of what? That I will never return. That I will forget who I am. That I will become trapped here forever. Her words hit him like a weight. For a moment, he saw her not as an alien, not as some mysterious being, but as a lost girl, far from home, terrified of being alone. Without thinking, he said, You're not alone. Not as long as you're here. Elora's eyes widened slightly, and something unspoken passed between them. Neither of them noticed the shadow moving outside the window. A man in a black coat stood in the alley, staring up at Jaemin's apartment. His phone buzzed in his hand, and a cold voice came through. We've found her. The next morning, Jaemin woke up to the smell of something burning. He shot up from the floor, coughing, and saw smoke rising from the small kitchen corner. Elora stood in front of the stove, frowning at the pan where blackened bread sizzled sadly. I was making food, she said flatly, holding the spatula awkwardly. Jaemin rushed over, turning off the stove. You almost burned my apartment down. Elora looked at the bread, her expression calm but her eyes slightly downcast. It looked simple when you did it. Jaemin sighed, running a hand through his messy hair. He wanted to be angry, but he couldn't. Not when she stood there looking so lost, wearing his oversized shirt, her hair tangled from sleep. Next time just wait for me, he muttered. I'll teach you properly. Her lips curved slightly, the closest thing to a smile he had seen on her face since she arrived. After breakfast properly cooked this time, Jaemin grabbed his bag. I have to go to class today. You can't stay here forever. People will notice. Elora tilted her head. Where are you going? University, Jaemin said. It's the place where we study. Elora looked thoughtful. I want to see.
What?
No, that's not a good idea, Jaemin said quickly. You don't know how to act normal yet. What if you say something weird? Or glow? Her eyes darkened. You promised to hide me. Do you plan to keep me locked in this small room? Jaemin winced. She was right. Keeping her hidden forever wasn't possible. Besides, maybe if she saw the world, she would understand humans better. Fine, he said reluctantly. But you have to follow my lead. No strange questions. No glowing. Just act normal. Elora nodded seriously. I will try. That afternoon, they walked through the crowded university campus. Jaemin kept glancing at her nervously, but Elora walked calmly beside him, her eyes scanning everything: the students laughing together, the professors carrying books, the clubs handing out flyers. Every now and then, people turned to look at her. She drew attention without trying, her beauty quiet but impossible to ignore. Jaemin felt a strange twist in his chest whenever someone stared too long. In the lecture hall, Elora sat beside him, listening intently. The professor droned on about economics, writing formulas on the board. Jamin doodled in his notebook, bored as usual, but Ellara's eyes were sharp, following every word. When the class ended, she whispered, "This is how you learn?" "Yeah," Jamin said. "Boring, right?" She shook her head slowly. "It is fascinating. So many minds sharing knowledge." Jamin stared at her, surprised. He had never thought of it that way. For him, school was just stress, exams, pressure. But through her eyes, it was something else entirely. As they walked across campus, Ellara suddenly stopped. Her body stiffened, her eyes scanning the crowd. "What is it?" Jamin asked, alarmed. "Someone is watching," she said softly. Jamin looked around, but saw nothing unusual. Students laughed, talked, hurried to classes. No one looked suspicious. "Are you sure?" he asked. Ellara's gaze hardened. "Yes." They hurried home after that, but Jamin couldn't shake the feeling. That night, as Ellara slept in his bed, he lay awake on the floor, staring at the ceiling. Her words echoed in his mind. "Someone is watching." He didn't know that she was right. Outside, across the street from the apartment, the man in the black coat stood again, his cold eyes fixed on the window. He spoke quietly into his phone. "She is adapting," he said. The voice on the other end replied, low and sharp. "Do not lose her. We cannot let her return to her world. Watch the boy too. He is connected to her now." The man's lips curved into a thin smile. "Understood." The next few days passed strangely. Ellara continued to learn about Earth, about humans. She asked endless questions: why people smiled when they were sad, why they sang songs, why they painted pictures. One evening, she found Jamin sketching at his desk. He tried to hide the notebook, embarrassed, but she pulled it gently from his hands. Inside were drawings, faces, buildings, the forest, and one sketch of her. Ellara looked at it quietly. "This is me." Jamin's ears burned. "It's not, it's just practice. Don't think too much about it." But Ellara touched the page softly. "On my world, we do not draw. We do not capture moments. We simply exist. But you hold on to what you love with your hands." Her words struck him deeper than he expected. He looked at her, really looked, and realized how close she was sitting. Her eyes, dark now, but still carrying something infinite, met his. For a moment, the room felt too small, the air too heavy. His heart pounded loudly. He wanted to look away, but he couldn't. Then Ellara whispered, "Is this a love?" Jamin's breath caught. He wanted to laugh, to deny it, to say she was misunderstanding. But he couldn't find the words. Before he could answer, there was a knock at the door. Both of them froze. Jamin slowly stood, his heart racing. No one ever visited him. He opened the door cautiously. A delivery man stood there holding a package. "Delivery for Kim Jae-min," he said. Jae-min blinked. "I didn't order anything." The man smiled thinly. "A gift." He pushed the box into Jae-min's hands and walked away before Jae-min could ask more. Confused, Jae-min brought the package inside. Ellara was watching, tense. He opened the box carefully. Inside was a single object, a silver bracelet, shining faintly. Ellara's face went pale. She stepped back. "Where did you get that?" I don't know. It just arrived," Jamin said. Ellara shook her head, her voice urgent.
"It is not a gift.
"It is a mark.
They have found me."
At that exact moment, the lights in the room flickered. The air grew heavy, humming with an unnatural energy. And Jamin realized with a chill that Ellara was not the only one from the stars who had come to Earth. The silver bracelet lay in the box, glowing faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Jamin stared at it, confused and afraid, but Ellara's reaction terrified him even more. Her face was pale, her hands trembling. "This is a tracker," she whispered. "It means they are close." "Who's close?" Jamin asked, his voice sharp with panic. Ellara looked at him, her dark eyes full of a fear he had never seen before. "Hunters. They are not human. They are from my world. Their duty is to stop anyone who tries to leave. If they find me, they will take me back." And you, her voice broke. You will not survive. The air in the room grew heavy, tense. Jae-min felt his heart pound. He wanted to believe this was just some science fiction nightmare, but deep down, he knew it was real. He had seen her fall. He had seen her glow. He had seen enough to know that Elora was not lying. We have to run, he said quickly, grabbing her hand. Pack your things. I have no things, Elora said softly. I only have this body. And you. Her words made his chest tighten, but he pushed the feeling away. Then let's go. They rushed down the narrow stairs of his building and out into the cold night. The streets were nearly empty, the lamps casting long shadows. Jae-min pulled Elora along, his mind racing. Where could they go? How could they hide from something not of this world? But Elora stopped suddenly. Her body stiffened, her eyes glowing faint silver again. They are here. From the darkness ahead, a figure stepped into the light. It was the man in the black coat. His face was calm, cold, his eyes inhumanly sharp. Behind him, two more figures appeared, tall and silent. Jae-min felt Elora's hand tighten around his. He could feel her trembling. Elora, the man said, his voice low but clear. You cannot stay here. You know the law. Come with us. Elora's voice was steady, though her body shook. I will not go back. Not yet. The man's eyes flicked to Jae-min, his lips curling into a thin smile. You have grown attached. How human of you. But you know he cannot survive contact with us. If you truly care for him, you will not let him suffer. Jae-min's stomach twisted, but he stepped forward, his fists clenched. Stay away from her. The man's smile widened. Brave, but foolish. Before Jae-min could react, the man moved. Too fast. Faster than human eyes could follow. But Elora moved too, pulling Jae-min behind her, her body glowing bright silver, her eyes blazing like stars. Light clashed with darkness as they faced each other in the street. The ground trembled under the force of their energy. Jae-min shielded his eyes, his heart racing. He had never felt so small, so powerless. Yet at the same time, he couldn't leave her. Elora, he shouted over the roar of energy.
Run.
But Elora turned her head, her silver eyes locking on his.
No.
I will not leave you. The hunters pressed forward, their power growing. Elora fought back, her light burning brighter, but Jae-min could see her struggling. Every burst of energy drained her, her body trembling more with each second. He couldn't just stand there. He couldn't let her fight alone. Jae-min grabbed the silver bracelet from the box, which he had carried without thinking. It pulsed in his hand, burning hot. The hunter's eyes widened. No, Jae-min, not knowing what else to do, shoved the bracelet onto his own wrist. The world exploded. Pain seared through his body, fire racing through his veins. He screamed, collapsing to his knees. The hunters staggered back, their power faltering. Elora cried out, rushing to him. Why? She shouted, her voice breaking. Why did you do that? Jae-min could barely breathe, but he forced the words out. Because I couldn't let them take you. His vision blurred, darkness closing in. But before he lost consciousness, he saw Elora's face, her silver tears glowing as they fell. Hold on, she whispered, her voice shaking. Please hold on. Everything went black. When Jae-min woke again, he was back in his apartment. The room was quiet, the light dim. Elora sat beside him, her head bowed, her hand holding his. He tried to speak, but his throat was dry. Elora looked up quickly, relief flooding her face. You survived, she whispered. The bracelet, it should have killed you. But somehow it bonded with you. You are not like other humans anymore. Jae-min blinked slowly, his body weak. What happened to them? They are gone.
For now.
But they will return, Elora said softly. Silence filled the room. Jae-min stared at her, at the way her silver eyes glowed faintly again. He thought of everything she had risked, everything she had done to protect him. Elora, he said hoarsely, why didn't you leave? You could have escaped while I was out. Her hand tightened around his. Her voice trembled. Because I found something here. Something my people do not understand. Something worth staying for. Jae-min's heart pounded. Love. Elara's eyes softened, her lips curving into the smallest, most fragile smile.
Yes.
Love. Tears stung his eyes, and he pulled her into his arms. She fit against him perfectly, like she had always been meant to be there. For the first time, Jaemin didn't feel ordinary, or small, or powerless. He felt complete. But deep down, he knew the truth. This couldn't last. She didn't belong here. Days passed quietly after that. The hunters did not return immediately, but Elara knew they would not give up. She grew weaker each day, her energy fading. Her body, though human now, was not meant to stay on Earth for long. One night, she stood by the window, looking at the stars. Jae-min joined her, his hand finding hers. You miss it, don't you? He asked softly. Yes, she admitted. It is my home. But now, so are you. Jae-min's throat tightened. Then stay. Elara shook her head, tears glistening in her eyes. If I stay, they will come again. And next time, they will kill you. I cannot allow that. Then I'll go with you, Jae-min said desperately. Take me with you. Her tears fell, glowing as they slid down her cheeks. You cannot. Your body, your life, it is tied to this world. If I take you away, you will die. Silence. Heavy, painful silence. Jae-min pulled her close, holding her tightly, as if he could stop time. Then what do we do? Elara pressed her forehead against his. We love. For as long as we can. And then we let go. The night she left, the sky burned with light. Jaemin stood in the forest where they had first met, his hands trembling, his heart breaking. Elara stood before him, her body glowing brighter than ever, her eyes filled with sorrow and love. I will return, she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of eternity. Across galaxies, across time, I will find you again. Jae-min's tears fell freely. I'll wait. No matter how long. I'll wait for my love from the star. She kissed him, soft and endless, a kiss that carried every word they could not say. And then her body lifted, dissolving into light, rising back into the sky. Jae-min fell to his knees, watching as the brightest star in the heavens streaked across the night. And though his heart ached with loss, he whispered into the silence. She was real. She was mine. And someday she will come back. Above him, the stars burned silently, keeping their promise. The Yendi,